Hey everybody, welcome to the Vision Board Workshop where we will talk about what is manifestation, what a vision board is, how to create one, and most importantly, how to create one that works, where the manifestations come into reality. All right, so without further ado, I want to keep it short, and that's why we'll actually first jump on the step what is manifestation? Because we can't talk about vision board without talking about manifestation. Manifestation, literally translated, means bringing into reality. Anything that's you want to bring it into this three-dimensional reality. It's called manifesting. All right, people say I'm manifesting. I like to manifest. People say I don't like to manifest. People say I do not do manifesting. It's like saying I don't believe in gravity or I don't do gravity, right? Because it's not a phenomena where you have a control. The only thing that you have a control over is whether you're doing it consciously or subconsciously. Let me explain. So your brain is only showing you the reality filtered based on your thoughts. So I have talked about it a lot of times. I think if we just understand this simple concept, there is a lot of manifestation that you understand. It's not all of the manifestation because there is a lot of quantum physics and spirituality part which we don't understand, we cannot explain from this part, but it is, I would say, 90% of the manifestation. It will take you pretty far when you actually understand this concept. And the concept is that your brain is filtering the reality to you. Every second, your brain is bombarded with 11 million bits of data, out of which it is actually translating 40 bits of data per second. Do you understand? It's like a speck in an ocean. So only 40 bits of data per second. So in a second, what you see depends on what your RAS and then your value tagging system, these are parts of your brain. These are functions of your brain based on the parts of your brain. And it is doing that. So RAS is deciding what you want to see, and then value tagging system is actually showing it to you in a certain order. So every second of the day, whatever you are seeing depends on what your RAS thinks, your reticular activating system thinks is important for you. And how is it deciding that? It's deciding that based on your most repetitive thoughts, things that you keep repeating in your head. All right, and so what do you obsess the most about? More often than not, we obsess about our problems. And that's why we start seeing issues more and more. So when you say, I'm not manifesting, dear, you are. Trust me, you always are because your brain is functioning. If you have a functioning brain, you are manifesting, except you don't know it consciously. However, after having this information, you actually get the power to manifest consciously because now you know your thoughts. Now you need to get into the awareness step and understand what thoughts are. What are your major thoughts? And when you understand what your major thoughts are, you want to focus on what you want. So, for example, you say, I want a new ride, right? I want a new car. However, most of your thoughts are focused all day on how crappy the traffic is, or how bad my life is, or it's so cold outside, I don't have a car, I don't have a car, and stuff like that. Guess what? You're focusing most of the time on I don't have a car. What does your value tagging system, your RAS think, your radical activating system think? That not having a car is important for you. Guess what? You would always keep getting more of that. It will not even show you an opportunity where a car is on sale or something like that, right? So you see, what you're manifesting is basically you are funneling the whole ocean down to a drop. And that drop is being decided based on what's going on loop in your head. Yeah. So instead of focusing on the problem, focus on the solution and repeat it in your head. And that's where all these tools come in, the affirmations, where you repeat what you want, the visualizations, where you visualize what you want, and then the vision boards, where you actually keep showing yourself on a regular basis your goals. All right. So, such a tool is vision board. Vision boards, as we know, what it means is where you focus on what you want and you have an image of it. Why vision board is such an awesome tool? Because it's giving you a 3D, sorry, a two-dimensional image. So, it's a picture speaks 1,000 words. That's what they say. So, what it means is it's not only giving you I want a car, it's giving you which color you want, which style you want, which model you want, what are the seats looking like. All of that you can get in a picture, and that's a lot of information that your brain's absorbing, right? So that's why vision board is very powerful. And yes, and that's why it's a great thing to create a vision board. Now, a vision board can be many ways and multiple ways. So it can be a physical vision board where you cut the images and paste it on a cardboard, or on a, like on a pin it in on a bulletin board. Or you can have something like something fancy like this one. This one's from my last year's vision board, where I had, like, this is like I got it from Amazon. I don't know the name, but I can share later if people like it. It's fancy. However, I like the normal one more. However, we have images on it. These images can mean something to you or not. So, for example, these parachutes are pretty, but for me, it was like the height, reaching the next level. This is what it symbolizes for me. So that image can mean nothing to somebody else, but it should mean something to you. For example, oops, I had this image of God, and so it's spirituality. It's be the energy you want to attract. So it's spirituality, calm, light. It says a lot to me, and stuff like that. So this is just one way of doing it. The best way, if you're making it for the first time, I would say the best way would be to find pictures online, print them, cut them. If you are into magazines, cut them with that, because then that's another sensory experience while you're cutting them, touching them, feeling them. They're close to you. That experience itself also matters. Yeah. So that's what the vision board is. It's just a tool. So there are so many ways you can have it on your phone, wallpaper, or wherever you want to have. So it can be a digital vision board, it can be a fancy vision board like that. I used to have like a multiple photo frame, and I used to put pictures, printed out pictures of different things that I want. That's another way. I have cut them and put them, whichever way works for you. However, it's just a tool. So what do I mean by that? Just putting pictures on the vision board, chances of it coming to reality is not, that high. Later in here, we'll talk about what are the things that make those manifestations come true, those vision boards come true. But before that, I want to talk about desires. And one of the very important things that we need to understand about desires. So, desires are very important and very powerful. And the thing with desires nowadays is we have attached a lot of judgment to them. So, we don't allow ourselves to desire a lot, because it's mean to desire a private jet, or it's mean to desire to look a certain way, or, there are different desires that we have. You know what I mean? Like, if it's mean to desire pleasure in a certain way, there's a lot of judgment attached to desires. However, we need to understand and respect our desires. It's called acceptance, it's called surrender. You can call it in any way. What I'm trying to say here is you're allowed to want anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter, because it's your desire, and it doesn't have to fit into the picture of anybody else's good or bad. Yeah. I'm not saying go break the rules, don't live by the community. No. However, the minimum you can do is lose the judgment for that desire. Whether you further take action or not is up to you. But accepting that you want it can be the first step. Yeah. And can be actually very, very liberating. So that's one. The second thing, which is actually very important, is that we have limited ourselves a lot. We live in a small box and we call it our world. However, we don't even know that how small this box is. So, for example, if I asked you to give me a desire, maybe a lot of people now, because we have been watching YouTube and all of that, we might even think about having a private jet. However, how many of you can even dream of meeting the president of America in a party, like having dinner with him, or president of any other country for that matter? We can't because even before we consider we want it or not, we will think it's not possible, right? So we'll be doing an exercise called the 100 desires exercise. And when you do this exercise, what I want you to do is I want you to lose all these boxes, like at least grow this box. So, for example, if you wanted to meet Amitabh Bachchan or Jennifer Aniston or some Angelina Jolie, I don't know, some big name, um, and you wanted to have dinner with them, is the possibility that somebody in your circle is a big influencer and they go to a party where they meet and they needed a ride and you were available, so you gave them a ride and you ended up being with them in that party, for example? Or in the world of LinkedIn, uh, you and yeah, so in the world of LinkedIn, you and your friend are both having a third connection to Jennifer Aniston, right? Or I like Adam Sandler, so who knows? Adam Sandler once is traveling for some, or I get an upgrade because my seat is bad, and then I end up sitting next to Adam Sandler in a flight one day. Who knows? Is this a possibility? Is this vaguely by any chance possible? Can you say logically that it is not? All these examples that I gave you? I want you to consider this for a minute. If you want to climb the Mount Everest, is there a possibility? Yes, you have two kids and you have a house to take care of and you have a job to work at. However, is there a possibility that your boss organizes something and you get into, I don't know, a trekking trip to. What I'm saying is, don't limit your thoughts, don't limit your imagination. When you go and write those 100 desires, sky is the limit, okay? Or even sky is not the limit. If you want to go beyond the sky or go to the space, write it, okay? That's what I wanted to, that was the point that I was trying to make here. So lose the judgment about your desires. Everything is okay. You can be as mean or as fantasizing as you want, because yeah. And then the second is anything and everything is possible. I want you to go ahead and take put up a timer for 3 minutes, write 100 things that you want, that would be nice to have, good to have. You'll see the first 10 is something that keeps coming, but the next 90 things that come up will be really amazing. All right. So go put a timer for a minute, sorry, for 3 minutes, and write those 100 things. Yes, do it now. And once you're done with it, come back. All right. Welcome back. So do you see the 100 desires? Do you see how interesting they are? Did you even know that you would like to have those things? Yeah. And some of them are so trivial, like having a kitchen garden or a walk by the river or by the, lake. that does not cost you anything, and you would might even end up thinking that, why am I not doing it already? So I love this exercise. I hope it was eye-opening for you guys. Now we move on. Move on to the next step of creating our vision board. I want you to try to categorize these desires into a few categories. So for health, wealth, relationships, spirituality, and mind, and then community. So put them into these categories, okay? So I'll repeat the categories one more time: health, wealth, relationship, spirituality, and community. Okay, so it's pretty obvious what comes under what, the money and everything, all this stuff comes, money and the car and the private jet comes under wealth. Health comes, all, you want to hike, you want to lose weight, you want to have six-pack abs, you want to have glowing skin, long hair, all of that will come under health. Relationships, of course, your love, your friendships, all of that come under relationships. Spirituality, what do you want to feel, how calm you want to feel. So I've given it spirituality slash mind. So you want to feel calmer, you want to feel, you know, more connected to the universe. You want to feel the manifestations, you want to feel the consciousness around you. Whatever, that's spirituality. And community, of course, your friends and families, or giving to the society, whichever, right? So you may want to add or subtract something from it, but I think this is a good list. Once you're done categorizing your desires from those 100 desires list, um, I want you to pick three or four from each, or even two or three from each, whatever seems like a good number to you. And now you will start creating your vision board. Try to get into more details of it. So, for example, under health, you have I want to get fitter. What exactly that fit means, right? Somebody who weighs 80 kilos, for them, fit may mean 70 kilos or 65 kilos. Somebody who weighs 65 kilos, for them, the health or fitter might mean 58 kilos. I don't know. I'm just making up the numbers. So the point is, what does fit mean for you? What does wealthy means for you? So $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month, $5,000 a month, or $500 a month. I don't know if which country you're living in. It depends on a lot of things, right? So uh, get discreet about your desires under the vision board, right? And then, of course, find the images that you like, put them on the vision board, take your time with it, enjoy this exercise. So, as I said, the three things that you want to focus on while working on your vision board is clarity, the feelings, and consistency. How does this tool work, or how to make it work? So what we are working for, of course, for clarity, and then we are working for feelings. So how manifestation works, or how the brain works, is it amplifies when you actually are feeling something, right? So what does that image of that car, you sitting in that car, I want you to see yourself sitting in that car and feel the feelings of wow, the gratitude, that excitement, whatever you want, right? I'm just sticking to the car example because that's where I started with. Whatever you are thinking of, what do you want that to feel when you have that desire? I want you to feel that when you look at that image. All right. If there are 30 images on it and you think you cannot go to all the images in one go, take your time, pick an image, just feel that image for 30 seconds, and do the same thing next time when you see the vision board for a different thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. So, what you're doing is you are training your brain to tell that it is important for you. And feelings do it faster than just the pictures. Pictures plus feelings make it even faster. Okay? That's clear? All right, now we'll talk about the consistency. Is it okay? I made a great vision board. I sat for an hour, visualized everything, and I'm done. Is it going to work like that? It may. But tomorrow your brain's going to get busy again, keeping you safe, and then everything else is going to forget, because you'll start again getting into the loop of what's not working for you, right? So, and remember what your RAS doing? RAS is looking for, so it's your brain's Google. It's looking for the answers to the questions that you're asking on a regular basis, which is the problems that you're running in the loop, versus your vision board is the solution to them. So that's why consistently we want to spend some time on our vision board every day. So I call it the ritual, whereas 1 minute of the day you do it 2 to 3 times. So morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever, right? I would definitely suggest to have once before going to bed. Rest, it's up to you. Spend a minute or two looking at those pictures, thinking of what you want. All right. And that actually, especially because going to bed, because after that, that frequency amplifies because your brain calms down. And the calmer you are while you are thinking of these desires, the more amplified that frequency and more attractive it is. All right. So now we have a vision board and we have our ritual. So what are the three main things to make a vision board work? Clarity, feelings, and consistency. Yeah. So the 1 minute ritual. Okay. Now I'll talk about the three things that supercharge your manifestation, because I don't want you to have just the vision board. I want you to have an amazing 2026 and all your manifestations to come true. All right. So I'm going to talk about three secrets of manifestation. Why your manifestations come true or why they don't. Secret number one, manifestation is an identity reset. Vision boards fail when you actually just have pictures, but you don't change your identity, right? For example, I want to be a wealthy person. So, what would be the identity of that wealthy person? For example, my definition of wealthy is I make $50,000 a month. If I make $50,000 a month, what would that identity look like? Would I actually be penny pinching for the coupons, for example? Or will I not be? Or will I value my time more than the money, for example? In a lot of scenarios, like, for a few cents, I might not drive too far. So that's the identity you are trying to shift to. Those few cents never make you richer or poorer, but your identity that you're living in actually says a lot. And when you actually switch that identity, you become more attractive towards the wealth, right? So it's not the board, it's the identity behind it. All right. So you need to become the version of who's living. I already talked about it, right? So, and keep doing it consistently. That's very, very important, because remember, your value tagging system is actually tagging it in the order of importance. Those 40 bits that you're seeing is based on how important it thinks is for you. All right. So consistency is also very important. So now I can give you an exercise also. Identity creates reality. So what you're living right now is what your identity. So, just sit down and contemplate for a bit. What identity I am living right now? Am I living an identity of a successful person or a person who wants to be successful in 2025? Now, if I'm a successful person in 2026, whatever the definition of success is, you just created it in your vision board. What does this person's identity look like? Who is this person? And then how can I start embodying it from today, so that when the reflection comes, so what you're living is the reflection of your identity, right? So when the reflection of that identity comes, I'm pleasantly surprised, right? Because this is what I was working for. Okay, that's the secret number one. You manifest through identity. Number two, your brain can be trained to recognize and receive your vision. That's what we have been talking about for so long. All those RAS and the vision board and the value tagging system, it can be trained. It's tough. It's not easy. It's easy to say it. However, you see, it's so easy to fall back into life. The life happens. There's a traffic jam. You start cribbing right away, and you forget all these lessons that all this 30 minutes that I've been talking about. And you are like, oh, this sucks. It's bakwas. It's bad. The traffic's bad. Blah blah blah. But that's where the creation process comes in. All right. So the third bit, we already talked about the RAS, we also talked about the value tracking system. The third bit that is also very important, actually one of the very, very important things is the nervous system. So your nervous system needs to feel safe with this desire of yours, right? So for example, say you're making $1,000 or $5,000 a month today, and you say, I want to become a millionaire. Well, it's a big, big change for your nervous system. And it's instead of uh, getting excited about and working towards it, it's gonna shut down. It's gonna say it doesn't feel safe because, again, it's your anatomy, it's your biology that your brain associates change with danger. Any change that is changes are new. Anything new to the brain, any change to the brain is perceived dangerous. Thus, you need to, I'm not saying if you're making 5,000, you can't make a million. You definitely can. However, you need to train your nervous system to be relaxed when you receive it. And that's where the visualizations come into picture. Those EFT tappings come into picture. There is a lot of tools that I talk about in my trainings which come into picture because when you're repeating it on loop, it gets used to it. It actually rehearses it and thinks of it as a normal, and it's not a change anymore. You see, that's why visualization is a manifestation too. All right, so we already talked about the filtering of data and all of that. What is the secret number three? You can't fix what you can't see. And that's the funny part, that most of our actions are coming from subconscious. Most of our decisions are coming from subconscious. As big as 95% of our decisions and actions are decided through subconscious mind. And you can't fix what you can't see. You think that I know what my blocks are and I'm going to fix it, but you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. It's funny, but it's true. And 95% of it is coming from either neediness or need to comply to the community, or this is good, this is bad that you learned when you were a little kid, your identity conflict and so on. But you can only fix them when you could see them, right? So that's about it. These are the three secrets, right? You can't fix what you can't see. Your brain can be trained, and the manifestations happen due to identity change. All right. So once you know these three things, and once you know what vision board is and how to make it work, what are you going to do to make it different this time? What are you going to do to make 2026 different this time? That is about it. So you know a lot now. I want to know what you're going to do with this knowledge. I want to see your vision boards. I want to see your, the screensavers, the stuff that you made. And let's have a great 2026 together. Happy manifesting.